If they running their mouth, then they looking for trouble. Ran right up in the knowledge, now they back in the huddle. See, they know we can fight, new content every week. Me and Dr. Clyde, keep on bringing the heat. Now they know that we're driven, and they know we ain't quitting. Yoshi and the winner, keep on bringing the energy. Unity. See, they know we ain't stopping, and they know they got problems, and they ran out of options. If they know we got a problem, can't let it go unsolved. Bring back learning, Afrocentric history, we see tomorrow. Karma's karma, I say what I say, I hear underwater. Till I see I fall off, then I bring y'all up on note. I'm back up on my Clyde winners, 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 Clyde winners. Divine winters, Clyde winters, mind bender, Clyde winters. I'm Richard, ride with ya, master teacher, create masters, Clyde winters. Give respect to the elder, Clyde winters. Somebody out there living for me. I told you somebody out there looking for me. I think there's somebody out there looking for me. I think there's somebody out there looking for me.
We have to live by the law. We have to live by the law. I have not done wrong. I have not robbed. I have not stolen. I have not drank. I have not told lies. I have not stolen food. I was not stolen. I have not fornicated with the fornicator. I have not caused anyone to weep. I have not dissembled. I have not transgressed. I have not discussed secrets. I have brought no lawsuits. I am not wrong. I am not struck kill. I am not transgressed the law. I have not been hunted. Except when I'm talking about on the song. I have not made extolling. I have not bragged. I have not cursed. I have not been violent. I have not confounded truth. I have not been impatient. I have not cursed against.
Dr. Winter's legacy is a testament to the power of knowledge and the unyielding spirit of exploration. His impact is felt worldwide, as he shares and enlightens at conferences, symposiums, and collaborative projects. His voice is a beacon in the academic world, challenging, inspiring, and always educating. His journey reminds us that the quest for knowledge is never-ending, and its impact is timeless. Dr. Winters teaches us to challenge the narratives and to learn with an open mind. As he always says, B1 is not a group, it's a lineage. Let his story inspire everybody to pursue knowledge relentlessly and to always seek the truth. Now let us welcome in the grandfather of research, the Trill OG himself, the Honorable Dr. Clyde Winters.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, family? Do you know what day it is? Today is the day. Today is the day that we are going to discuss another Black History theme. This theme is very important and interesting because the fact is that we want to really try to discuss what's going on in this area. You know, what is it that we really need to know? You know, because it's a lot of interesting information out there. And it's a lot of Black history. Much of this history has been hidden from us. And that's why every Thursday, I come to you. And when I come to you to discuss various Black history themes, because the fact, in a sense, is that I know that it's only through, in a sense, using the knowledge and power that we have, that we're going to be able, in a sense, to really understand, what's really happening in this world. And a lot of things are happening in this world that makes us understand, in a sense, that not being power is not, in a sense, listening to a lot of bullshit, but trying, in a sense, to understand the truth that lies underneath all knowledge. And all knowledge, in a sense, is there for us to find out what's going on. And what's going on, I'll tell you what's going on. What's going on is knowing who you are, what you are, and where you can find yourself. Because, see, much of, in a sense, the knowledge that we need to do, the knowledge that you need to understand, is knowledge, in a sense, that's available. But it's available knowledge that's not really out there for everybody. How you doing, Tone 5? Black Scrap 7, and the Kashiba. Kashiba, what's up, everybody? Again, thank you guys for coming. But again, I love to really discuss with you Black history. And I love to discuss with you Black history because the fact is that much of our history is continually being diluted or being not being given out, because of the fact, in a sense, they don't want us to know. They don't want you to know, the truth and the prosperity that comes from, in a sense, understanding who and what you are. Yes, there's prosperity in that. And you may say, why is it prosperity? It's prosperity because of the fact, in a sense, that by knowing who you are, then you can move forward and you can find out a lot of things that really help us. Today I want to talk about the Gravettians. The Gravettian culture is a culture, in a sense, that many Black people experience, And this experience that occurred was the result, in the sense, of people looking at these ancient artifacts. Yes, there's many ancient artifacts. And these artifacts, what make it so important is that these artifacts, they show the reality of the Black experience. And see, this Black experience is an experience, in a sense, that allows us to see and know who and what we are. And that's why we really, in a sense, try to make sure that we really want to harp upon this reality, you see. And this reality is very important, and it's important for all of us, because it's by understanding this reality that we're able, in a sense, to move forward and to be able, in a sense, to share this reality and knowledge about self, because knowledge about self is very important to all of us. But, recent population genetics articles indicate that many of the haplogroups we associate with Europeans and Middle Easterners were first carried by African or Negro people. This results from the fact that the first Homo sapiens had migrated from Africa into Europe. These Negro civilizations in Europe were Arignacian, Gravettian, Solutrean, Spain and France, Magdalenian, France, Germany, and Poland, and Epigravettian in the Neolithic. These are some of the various, when you look at these statues, let's look at these. When you look at these statues, what we see, in a sense, is that these statues reflect, in a sense, the relationship between these people. We see that we can see all these ancient statues that were made. Numerous sub-Saharan skeletons have been found in Europe. Many of these skeletons, in a sense, carry various haplogroups. These early European farmers, they share haplogroups that came about from contemporary, and then mainly, in a sense, the haplogroup N. In civilization barbarism, we find, in a sense, a discussion of many of these Black people. We also know that W. Du Bois discussed these Negroes in the world in Africa, pages 86 through 89. Du Bois noted that there was once an uninterrupted belt of Negro culture from Central Europe to South Africa. The Arignacian civilization is the oldest civilization in Europe, created by anatomically modern humans. It dates back to 46,000 years before the present. The earliest Renaissance sites have been found in Spain. The radiocarbon dates for Bulgaria, the Korzaninki cave, date back to only 39,000 to 36,000 years ago. This shows, in a sense, that these sites are much later. The first Arignacians in the Levant date back to 36 to 34,000 years ago, and this information comes from scars Akil. The oldest Arignacian remains come from Iberia or Spain. These sites are very ancient in age, dating all the way back to 41,000 years ago. And this is the date for the Aboriginal cave. And 43,000 years ago, we have information from the Iberic Romans located in Catalonia, Spain, that also shows this. The date for the Arignacians in Europe, appears in a sense to let us know that this culture is very ancient. Bauli and Valas were some of the researchers that first began, in a sense, to really look at this information. Some researchers argue that the Arignacian culture was introduced to Europe. They based this conclusion on the fact that the toolkit was foreign to the Mousterian type, and the culture appears in a mature form throughout Europe, from France to Central Asia. The craniofacial evidence makes it clear that the Levantines and Arignacian populations came from Africa. Yes, Africa. As a result, we find that the craniofacial features of the Grimaldi Cro-Magnon population, and especially the Natufian population, when plotted, fall within the range of sub-Saharan African populations, like the Niger-Congo speakers. One of the earliest cultures was the Seleucian culture. Many researchers have recognized that the Seleucian culture of Iberia originated in Africa. Yes, Africa. The Seleucian lithic tradition is associated with the late Gravettian technologies. Bauli and Valas in Fossil Man, Elements of Human Paleontology, note that we know now that the ethnography of South African tribes presents many striking similarities with the ethnography of our populations of the so-called reindeer age. Not to speak of their stone implements, which, as we shall see later, established great similarities. Peringue has told us that in certain areas on the South African coast associated with the Arignacian and Seleucian type industries, yes, we see in a sense that the earliest origin of this culture, which was very common in Europe, was not in Europe, but in South Africa. They add that in relation to Bushman art is almost uninterrupted series of this African or Paleolithic art. The Seleucian tame points are at least 18 to 19,000 years old. These have been found at the Extremadura, Caiduriano caves, and the Parpolio cave in Valencia. Researchers found evidence that Seleucian artifacts have been found on North American sites. Yes, North American sites, where Paleo-American remains have been found. The Seleucian people were Khoisan. This has led some researchers to create the so-called Seleucian hypothesis that proposes that ancient America was settled by ancient Europeans. Pasch explains that the Gravettian culture was a pan-European culture that represented a biologically homogeneous population on the basis of graniometric, which have illustrated prove they were Negroes or Africans, and genomic data during the last glacial maximum, or LGM. Pasch et al. Illustrates the Gravettian culture was widespread and made up primarily of Goryeo, O2, Q2, and Belabrian R1 ancestry. So we find that these earliest people carried, in a sense, the Q2 and the R1 haplogroups. Below are figures from the Pasch et al. 2023 that outline the haplogroups carried by ancient Europeans. Why don't you take a little look at that? Costanini, C1, we find, in a sense, that RB1, MNA. Pasch et al. Genomic data made it clear that blacks who belonged to the Gravettian culture carried mtDNA haplogroups. Yes, they carried these mtDNA haplogroups that are very interesting. These haplogroups include U2, U4, and R1b, and the Y haplogroup Q, R, and J. Okay, Pasch et al. Explained that Western hunter-gatherers, the WHG population, belonged to the Valabruna ancestry. Since these populations carried mtDNA haplogroups U2, U6, and R1b, and Y chromosome haplogroups Q, R, and J, these haplogroups had probably first originated in Africa. Yes, in Africa instead of Europe. And as a result, mtDNA haplogroups U2, U4, and R1b, and Y chromosome haplogroups Q, R, and J are of African, not Eurasian origin. Again, we can see over here we have, in a sense, an stereotypical female. Look at the buttocks, how they protrude. Look at the big breasts. We find, in a sense, that this type of Black person, as you can see, was represented in the art that comes from that period, you see. So we find that this woman on the left, on the right-hand side, was the prototype for these various ancient artifacts on the left. Look at those artifacts. Look at how they, in a sense, relate, or they show, in a sense, these African features and stuff, you see. This is very important, and it helps us to understand more this idea that there was a Gravettian geophysical period. But the problem that we have is that in many of these cases, we find, in a sense, that the people didn't, in a sense, understand this reality. And because of the failure to understand this reality, we find, in a sense, that many people don't understand the ancient origins of these people. Let me explain to you. What is often misunderstood is that we as a people, you see, have been led astray. And we've been led astray by the simple use of the European, ideas that we want to incorporate in our understanding of the world. Sadly, many people, in a sense, do not believe that we have, in a sense, a mother culture, do not believe, in a sense, that we deserve to be recognized as a unique people. And because of the failure to understand the various, in a sense, failure to understand the various haplogroups, and the failure to understand, in a sense, these ancient peoples has led people, in a sense, to not be able to recognize the reality of our coexistence. Yes. When we look at these people, when we look at these women, we can see, in a sense, the fact that there was a sort of fertility culture. It does appear that back in ancient times, there wasn't, people wasn't as fertile, or maybe, in a sense, as you might imagine, because it was a primitive time. Maybe often many of the children probably wouldn't survive. And because many of the children often wouldn't survive, what we found, in a sense, is that there was an emphasis on making these images and making these statues. And these statues were made, in a sense, in a way to hopefully give the woman who might get this statue, make her more fertile, make her be able to have more children and be able to carry on the race, to be able to carry on their existence. And this is one of the reasons I think we find these early, in a sense, statues. And many of these statues, in a sense, they go back to this whole period when we find, in a sense, the R haplogroup. The R haplogroup is very interesting because we find that in America today, we find that 22, I think, percent of foundational Black Americans carry the R1 haplogroup. And when you consider that these ancient peoples also carried this same haplogroup, kind of in a sense indicates this continuity. And many people, in a sense, don't understand that there's a continuity of purpose. Many people don't understand that when we talk about Black people in America, we're not just talking about Black people that are here 1,000 years, 100 years. We're talking about 25,000 years or earlier than that, in the sense that there were Black people here. As a result, when the Europeans came over, they already found Black people here. We were already here. Yes, later other Black people may have came here from Africa and Asia, but there was already a firm population of, foundational Black Americans already here. And these foundational Black Americans, our ancestors, they were here to spread the culture, here to, in a sense, show this whole carryover, this whole, in a sense, structure that made us who and what we are. And this is one of the reasons why, in a sense, they found all these skeletons in Europe. They found all these people all over the place. And we know, in a sense, that by looking at these various statues, we can see this whole idea of the fertility to need, the need, in a sense, to have children and have children that would grow and be helpful and things like that. I want to thank you for joining us again. Today we're talking about the Gravettian genomic data that has been recovered, and this data shows, in a sense, the African relationship. It shows, in a sense, the fact that Africa is and will always be the leading place, and that we have to, in a sense, make sure that we stand strong. We have to make sure, in a sense, that we add even more knowledge. Okay, this is research that I've conducted, but there's even more research that can help you to understand, in a sense, that pale skin is very late, very late. And because of the fact, in a sense, that pale skin is very late, this is why Black people, in a sense, are considered the original race, and we're the original race. And we are the original people that existed on this planet. Again, in a sense, I hope, this is a very short presentation, but I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you found out something more. And remember, in a sense, that the Gravettian people, these ancient artifacts, relate not to, in a sense, a lost people, not in a sense to a people that we can't understand, but they relate back, in a sense, to the Black people who formed and created the first civilizations on the planet Earth. You guys have a great day, and thank you for joining me today.
Today is today. We need to homeschool our children due to white supremacy. In many states, education departments are passing laws to deny our children from learning the history of foundational Black Americans. Today, you can learn how to organize and teach your children in a homeschool in my book, A Guide to Homeschool Foundational Black Americans. You can use my book, History of Blacks in America from Prehistory to 1877, to teach our children their history here in the United States. You can use my book to teach world history. And this book I've written is called The World History of the Black World. This will teach your children about every Black civilization in the world. Get this book. The time is now. Get these books to teach your children about their greatness, to prevent them from losing confidence in their own ability to learn and be successful future adults in employment and education.
Supplemental learning for your mini. But you can learn too. Don't send your mini into the belly of the beast unarmed. Courses, practical math, language, the code, our story, and more. An institution founded by us, dedicated to us and our fight for justice. Here you will learn ways to combat the system using the same information they are trying to keep away from you. Welcome to FBA Sunday School.
Free your mind, let it go, to the top, drop it to the floor, hey, energy, coming like whoa, spring water, let it go, free your mind, let it go, tap in, go, let it nigga know, hey, let it nigga know, let it nigga know, energy, coming like whoa, spring water, let it go, free your mind, let it go, to the top, drop it to the floor, energy, coming like whoa, tap in, go, let it nigga know, hey, she told me go and put it in her heart. I told her I don't wanna break it all apart. Let me be a night light in the dark. Hey, my niggas shine bright with the art. Gemini 2 time, know it's hard. Got the stars on the line with the charts. Big dog, so I gotta leave a mark. Free your mind, cause I'm all that smart. Hey, energy, got me like wall. Spring water, how did that grow? Free your mind, let it go. To the top, drop it to the floor. Hey, energy, got me like wall. Spring water, how did that go? Free your mind, let it go. Tap in, go, let it nigga know, hey, let it nigga know.
Let the researcher do the Let the researcher do the research. Yes, let the researcher do the research. Dr. Clyde Winters, let him do the research. We need more researchers like Dr. Clyde Winters. Yes, yes, yes. Let the researcher do the research. Yes, we don't understand that it takes people who want to do research to be able, in a sense, to tell us our history. Yes, many people have taken my course, the Afrocentric Researcher. You can take it too. All you got to do is join. But if you don't, in a sense, join, understand that it's through your hard work,
through your persistence that you can become a researcher. Yes, yes, yes. Let the researcher do the researcher. You know what? I've written some books that can help you to be a researcher. Those books are Pathfinder, Clive Winter's In Search of the Roots of Afrocentric Studies. Yes, yes, this book is an important book. It'll help you learn all about your history. My other book is Afrocentric Researcher by Dr. Clive Winters. This book, in a sense, is the most important book that you will find. What makes this book important is that the Afrocentric Researcher provides you with a course, yes, provides you with a course outline that tells you all the things you do to be a great researcher. Yes, get these books. Get these books, The Afrocentric Researcher, and in a sense, get my book, Pathfinder. These books are the books you need to be successful, the books that will make you a great researcher. Get these books, but let the researcher do the research, but you can be the researcher too. Our identity and our culture as Black foundational Americans. Yes, yes. Wars between Black Indians and whites were manufactured to produce Black slaves for whites. The English, the French, and the Dutch provided the Native Americans with guns, rum, and cheap goods to purchase Native American Indian slaves. Between 1670 and 1720, many Black Native Americans were enslaved. The Black Native Americans were sold into slavery throughout the 13 colonies, Mississippi Valley, Canada, and the British West Indies. The majority of Black Native Americans sold into slavery by whites and Indians. Slave traders were the Choctaw, the Yamasee, and other Carolina tribes. Yes, yes. Many of these tribes, like the Mandi, Mandinga, many of these tribes, we've lost their names. And their names have been lost to history because of the fact, in a sense, that when the European came, as he conquered these Black Indians, he just made them slaves. And so over time, in a sense, their nations disappeared. Over time, in a sense, their history wasn't recorded. Over time, they were even able to deny that Aboriginal Blacks even existed in America. They wanted to give our Aboriginal ancestors gifts. And the only problem with the gifts that they gave us was that often these blankets that they gave us carried smallpox, yes, diseases. They also, in a sense, gave us another gift, rum, fire water. And this rum caused an addiction among us. In a sense, it led to a demand for guns because it incentivized Indian slave trading. Yes, the first slaves sold in America were Indians, Black Indians, selling other Black Indians to Europeans to work on their cotton, not on their cotton plantations, their tobacco plantations, their rice plantations. Yes, yes, yes. We sold each other over here, just like in Africa, because of the fact is that we failed to understand that we are one, we are one, we are one. We should be united based upon our identity and our culture as Black foundational Americans. Yes, yes.
Introducing Dr. Clyde Winters and on their name, put some respect. Yeah, yeah. I think it's time for reality check. Yeah, reality check. Gotta get you back on cold reality.
This is why I've written these books. I've written these books so that we can have a reality check. And this reality check is to allow you to be able to know the real, actual, and true history of foundational Black Americans. And our history is true, our history is there, and we definitely are number one. Yes, we are definitely number one. And we are number one by trying, in a sense, to do our best to learn more about our history and know where we can move forward and how we don't have to always be behind. Buy these books, learn about your history. Learn and know the truth.
The only thing that can save you is be one, be one, be one. To fight cage, you must stay black first.